All right, so we're here with 102-year-old delegate Jerry Emmett from Arizona. Now, Jerry, normally I wouldn't lead with somebody's age, but you've been leading with that this week, haven't you?
I have capitalized on being 102 years old, and I'm feeling very good and so happy to be here. I feel like the little Donald Duck. The sky must be falling.
Now, so Jerry, when you were born, women didn't even have the right to vote in this country. What was the first election that you were able to take a part of?
The first one I took a part in was Roosevelt, but my mother got to vote when I was 8 years old. That's when Arizona got the women to vote. But it took a little while to get it into the thing so it could say she on the ballots, you know. So I was about 8 years old when my mother got to vote for the first time. My first time was for President Roosevelt.
What do you remember about your mom's first vote? Did she talk about that or how important that was to her?
We all gathered in a little town in Gilbert, Arizona, and that's when they came out and said, hear ye, the polls are now open. And there were about 400 people in Gilbert, Arizona at that time. It was very hot. We had no refrigeration, no water that was cool, no ice, no electricity. But my mother and all of the people in the town came out to vote. And they voted that year for my mother to get to vote, and that was the year she could vote, and we were all so happy, and the men were happy too. I think that it was a great thrill in my young life, and I got involved in politics about that time.
So now, have you been active in politics since that time? Has that always been something important to you, being active in politics?
Most of my life was spent teaching 7th and 8th graders in Phoenix, Arizona, and all over the state of Arizona, Tombstone, and many other places. But so I couldn't be too involved because I was raising my own little boys and trying to teach school too. So, but I voted, and that's what I'm afraid of now. People aren't going out to vote. Everybody should go out to vote.
Now, have you always been a Hillary supporter for this cycle, or did you support her back in 2004 or 2008 when Barack Obama was running too?
I formed the Hillary Clinton fan club when Bill was in office, and after I did that in Arizona, she invited me to the White House for tea, and I was looking forward to it. So what happened? I got pneumonia and couldn't go. Had to send somebody else, but it was a wonderful time.
So being 102 years old, you've obviously seen a lot of American politics, a lot of world politics, and a lot of what's happened in the world. What would you say from the time you were a childhood is most surprising in terms of the way the world is now?
I can't believe America at this point, but the Roaring '20s were just this bad, and there were a lot of people coming into power and millionaires making money and things like that, and it was a godless time in America, the Roaring '20s, and I'm glad we're through with that. I don't want to get back into it again. That's why I'm fighting so hard for Hillary Clinton.
Now, what do you think has been the most important or most interesting political moment that you've been a part of the past 101 years?
Well, most startling was when Jack Kennedy was our president, and he and his brother were killed, and Martin Luther King. I thought the sky was really falling then. But Roosevelt bringing us out of the Great Depression, and standing up on those legs that were crippled from polio, and having 4 terms as president, and and his wife Eleanor was declared the first woman of the world because like Hillary, she cared about the whole world, not just America. Everybody in the world should be thinking together, working together, and helping each other.
Okay, now, if you had any advice to the millennials of today, the people coming of age, what would be your advice to them to go ahead and make sure we stay on the right path as America?
Just be sure you vote. There are so many people, and especially I notice the Hispanics in Arizona. So many of them want to be citizens, but when you say, well, you vote for this, and they say, oh, we don't vote. And, I said, they said, we don't want to lose. And I said, you've already lost if you don't vote. Everybody should get registered to vote. I don't care what party it is. We don't want just one party. Two, it's great for me. I said if ever there was one party, I'd make another one.
And finally, too, being 102 years old, if I want to get anywhere near there, what can I do on a day in, day out basis to live to 102? What is the secret to living so long?
I think it's not worrying. And I think we have to know that God is looking over us and all of us. And as long as we try to do our best, and He knows we're all going to make mistakes. And I told Him I just want to live to get past this convention. And then when my kids bought me a dress to go to what is that called? Inauguration, I probably will ask Him for one more week. But if I'm on cloud 9, I'll be looking for all of you.